Hi, I'm Beatrice Go and welcome to Rappler Talk. Today we are here with the UAP Season 80 Men's Basketball Champions, the Ateneo Blue Eagles. Today, Vince Tolentino will be here. He's the team captain. And then our UAP Finals MVP, Thirdy Ravena, and Isaac Go. So, hello guys! Congratulations and welcome to Rappler!
Thank you.
Hi, B.
So, how does it feel like being champions for more than a week now?
Go for it. It's an amazing feeling. We've been really busy, but I think it's really sunk in now, and we've been able to enjoy a little bit more lately.
Yeah. So when that buzzer sounded, what was the first thing that went into your head? Like all of you.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Did we just win?
Yeah.
Really?
What about you?
I collapsed. I don't know if you saw that. I collapsed.
Oh, you collapsed.
I just collapsed and belly flopped on the floor.
Oh my god.
It's one of those things that you don't even realize
You're
how
like,
tired you are.
you're like, wow.
That moment is done.
Yeah.
It was tough. I actually cramped up during
Celebration.
during the celebration.
Oh my god.
Like, so people were celebrating there and I'm cramping on the side.
Oh, that explains the pictures why you were down.
Yeah, I was cramping.
Okay, well, I hope you've recovered already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking back at the start of your playoffs, you said that you were really tired because you guys were pushed to the brink. In the semifinals, you had 2 games against FU because they extended
It was
to
a tough series also.
Yeah, and then for LaSalle, they extended to a game 3. So, can you describe that feeling that you were in a period of uncertainty because it's oh my gosh, I have a second game. Oh wow, there's a game 3.
Well, I think in a situation like that, it's more on having that mentality to know what's coming up next. It's about leaving everything behind once that game's done and just prepare for the next game. Because in that, it's a playoff, so you can't get stuck. And the games are always together. It's like a short period. You have a short period of time to recover and just prepare for the next game. So you just have to basically have that next game mentality. Just take what you can get and what you can learn from that past game and just make sure that you prepare well for the next. And you really don't, we didn't realize how tired we are. How tired we were after that buzzer sounded in game 3. So, but it's an amazing feeling.
And I think this is where we get a chance to see the life of an NBA or even a PBA player where you play 2 games in 3 nights, or even the PBA where you play every other day in the finals. Maybe it's something we can look back when we, hopefully in our careers in the future, and say, we've done it before, so we can do it again.
Yeah, it was the NBA. It's still home and away, and then
It's travel
you have
time.
to travel, and then
2 games, just imagine.
yeah, and then I think the one that you really needed that next game mentality was the second game of FU because I think you only had 2 days of rest.
And after the FU game, I mean, we lost by a pretty big margin. We had to focus on our next game, or else if we focus on our loss, then what are we gaining from that, right? And I think Coach Tabb has helped us. Right away we have viewing the next day. Right away we have practice. There's no break. So our next game mentality, like Thirdy was saying, is so important for us. And just staying in that moment, because if you think too far ahead, you can get caught up. Oh, it's the final. We might not have a game again. We might not even have practice the next day. So if you get too caught up in all of that, you can lose what we're trying to do, and which is to win the game. So,
do you think that you being matched with FEU, how significant was it to your finals matchup with LaSalle?
I think looking back, it helped us refocus because, as people said, people saw the way we played started downgrading towards the second round. Then it collapsed completely against LaSalle. You can see that was our lowest low. And then FEU. But I think in FEU Game 2, that's where we refound ourselves. We recomposed. We actually gained the identity we lost. So maybe we needed, in a time of crisis, we're able to re-identify ourselves and refocus.
Yeah, and you in the FEU game, well, everyone knows that you came in clutch. That game-tying triple and the St. Ignatius post. So what were going through? What was going through your head?
I was surprised in the timeout when we were down 3. Coach Tabb before even drawing up anything, said, "George, you're shooting this." And I think at that moment I wasn't thinking of anything. I was getting ready to take the shot or make the right basketball play. It was more of after the game where I was like, did I just take that? Did I just make that?
So,
and
yeah.
it was after the game really, and the Saint Ignatius shot really. I didn't. I felt Saint Ignatius shot. Let's just call it that. I didn't because I felt the refs will either call a 3-second call or a traveling. So just put it up, see what happens. And Thirdy and Mike were there. Actually, when you watch the game, I didn't see them, but when you watch the clip again, Thirdy and Mike were there. So if ever worst case scenarios went short, they would have gotten it. So it was a win-win situation for me. Basically,
calculated all of that in the span of about less than a second.
BS management with applied chemistry, guys. Yes. So, but then did that shot inspire you guys? Like especially the game-tying triple, yeah.
Well, just like, in a sense, Isaac's shot made us want to do our jobs more. Because all of us in the huddle heard Coach Tabb say, Isaac, you're going to take the shot. And he made it. And it just kind of like sparked like that fire inside us that, hey, I'm just going to do my job, whatever it is. If it's on defense, if it's on offense, I'm going to do this because the team needs me to do this for them. So I'm going to do this for every single guy on the court because I know that they're going to do every single thing that they could do for me and for my other teammates. So when Isaac made that, I just wanted to do my thing. I just wanted to guard Arvin because that was he was my main assignment. So that's how it really inspired us as a team.
Yeah, well, I think for me, when he made that shot, I mean, I was on the bench and I had belief, but when that shot went in, like, my belief was just, I knew we were going to win this game. Like, I could see it in everyone's eyes. Like, we just couldn't, we just can't lose this game. And, I'm thankful because that could have ended I always joke around with George, that could have been the end to my UAP career, right, if we lost that game. So I'm thankful. He's my savior. So.
Saint Ignatius, oh my goodness.
That's Saint Ignatius shot.
Saint Ignatius shot.
So Coach Tabb went like, called it.
Called it.
Yep.
Just like how he always does.
Yeah. He always does. He always calls
Really?
it. His coach has more than 35 years of experience, so he's been coaching even before we were alive. So when you have and he's been to the biggest stage.
Vince is already alive.
No, you're not 35. 35. When you have a coach who's been to the Olympics, who's made it big around the world, and you have him coaching a college team, it's like, wow, this level of basketball knowledge in the Philippines, we're really blessed to have him as a coach. And he was one of the reasons why last year we actually made it to the finals in the season 79, where a lot of people were calling us out early. I think everyone has a six seeds.
Yeah.
But Coach Tabb single-handedly carried us that year, and then when we bought in again this year, now we know that by believing in him and trusting him, we could achieve great things.
I'm sure like it was a team effort also. He would always say that you guys are like you guys have talent, but then he just like harnessed that talent from you guys. So what was the biggest lesson that you've learned from Coach Tabb, like each of you?
One is don't look at the results. Like he says, that when you don't aim to win championships, you aim to develop players, and those players will give you that championship. You don't look at the result, because if you try to look at the result, you sometimes hinder players to give them certain roles so that those certain roles can fit the system.
Yeah.
And that what he does now is like, me and Vince started shooting threes this year, past 2 years. And no one would have thought that before. Because he knew that would make us better as players. And that helped the system better. And that system helped us win the championship. Rather than saying, okay, our goal is to win a championship. We're going to improve the system and we get the players to fit the system. He doesn't. He improves the players, then adjusts the system to the players to win the championship.
Well, I think in the same context, he's actually like, for me, because with my brother and my dad and all that pressure, he was the guy that really made me realize that my biggest goal wasn't to be like them, wasn't to like match the same achievements or like try to reach that certain amount of rings or championships that they've had in their careers, but to actually just be the best player that I could possibly be. Because I'm different from my brother, I'm different from my dad, and that's how I have my own, skill set and like traits that I could use as an advantage to help the team. And that's what he made me realize. And I think that's going to be like the biggest lesson so far from Coach Tabb that I've learned.
Probably for me, the victory is in all the details. I used to believe that, I used to understand it, but he kind of showed me a different light. And his preparation for our games, for us, his preparation, how he prepares us to get ready for games is something that I haven't experienced. And I can't really explain like what he does, but it's just a lot of things like that help us calm our minds and feel like we're just ready to play basketball. And I haven't really experienced that with a lot of coaches, and Coach Tabb is definitely one of the guys that has been able to get the best out of my game. And yeah, I'm thankful for that, and probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned from him.
And since last year, I'm sure like LaSalle has been like a powerhouse. Like, how did Coach Tabb help you get the confidence to like face them?
I think when he scouts them, and when he scouts them, being that he's used to the FIBA style of scouting where you only get to see a team once. So you don't see the team too often. You see them play 1-2 games and you have to scout them. And like the UAP, we only play them twice in a year, and they only play how many summer league games. So he was able to break down every player, all their strengths, all their weaknesses, all their plays, all their sets, and he told us how to guard each one. He basically told us, I wouldn't say that he spoon-fed us, but I think that's how he felt. That he was spoon-feeding us what to do, and we just had to listen to him.
Yeah, and in a sense, it also made us like be more thinkers. Because when you get that scouting report, just like what George said, he basically tells you everything that you need to do in order to beat the team or any team that we face. And like when you're inside the court and you have those details in your head, that's when you begin to think, oh, this is what he's saying. Like when they call a certain play, you already know what they're gonna do, and you already know what you need to do in order to stop the particular play. So basically, like he made us be more of thinkers than just players inside the court, because I think that's how you're gonna last if you want basketball to be a career. You have to be able to know what's happening and not just leave everything to athleticism, to height, to skill, because everyone's going to be talented, everyone's going to be skilled, everyone's going to be tall when you get to the pros. So what he's just saying that we just have to be smart, because that's probably the biggest advantage that you could ever have from someone.
Well, LaSalle, like physically, they're a lot bigger than us. I mean, at the 4-5 spot, they have the advantage, even at a couple of the guard spots. But yeah, exactly what they said is the way he prepares us for the games. Like we bring our minds to the game rather than just our physical aspects, and that's a huge advantage for us.
Big
advantage. You just know what's coming, and with someone like Ben Mbala or even Trotter or the big guys in LaSalle, like you can't outwork them physically. So how else are you going to beat them, right? And it's just mental. A lot of it's just mental. So yeah.
Would you say like because Coach Tabb has been teaching you guys to be thinkers, that did you start believing in him more at that time in season 79 when you beat LaSalle?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was the biggest part. Yeah. Like I think that season, beating LaSalle was, they're undefeated team. We're underdogs the whole season. We had a rough first round, and then second round came, and that just put us. I think that just put us over the top, and really felt like we can do whatever. Beating the best team in the league is always a boost for us.
And it's like that was the point where we realized that once we started to trust in the system, that's when the entire team began to grow. And just like once you get that, that mutual respect of like listening to Coach Tabb and Coach Tabb like leaving some stuff for us to think about and do ourselves. Once you get that communication and trust flowing, everything seems to be natural, and everything seems to be in place once we start getting that trust and communication with each other.
I think if we remember correctly, we lost to LaSalle by 50 points in that summer. In the first game,
oh,
twice.
League, yeah.
No, twice in the summer league they got blown out by 50 points.
I remember. Yeah.
And
Phil Oil, we got blown out.
Really,
first
I think,
round.
yeah, first, no,
We
not
got
first
blown
round. We really didn't, did we get blown out in the first? We didn't. 13.
don't
It was
think
13.
so.
It wasn't that big. It wasn't that big.
Well, we basically got blown
But
out.
we got blown out by LaSalle, especially in the summer, because it was understandable. We're still adjusting Coach Tabb, and he split the teams. But when you see the growth of the team under Coach Tabb, when we started believing in it, because I think in the summer, a lot of us still had doubts. A lot of us were still questioning Coach Tabb because new coach, new system. Of course, there's going to be a doubt. But then, once we beat LaSalle in the second round, I think that's where we realized what believing in Coach Tabb could bring us there. He basically turned us from a 50-point deficit team to a +8. So that's a plus 58-point swing against the best team in the best college team in the Philippines
So
at
much
that
mind
time.
going on.
plus,
They're
yeah,
here, okay.
plus 58. That's a 58-point swing.
I need
As in,
water.
have you seen? It's rare that you see a coach have that kind of impact in such a short period of time, and that's why this is where we realize that Coach Tabb is going to take us to the promised land.
He's the,
And he did. That's what you got, a championship caliber coach. And then, like, so let's talk about Game 3. Ateneo LaSalle Game 3. Like, the last Ateneo LaSalle Game 3 was in 2002, 15 years ago. Were you guys there, alive?
Larry. Was that
No,
Larry?
Yeah, Larry's
I stopped.
gonna share.
I wasn't even watching.
Coach
Yeah.
Epoch.
Coach
Yeah,
Boss
Coach
Q.
Epoch.
Boss Q.
Yeah, Bus Q and them. I know. I mean, Game 3 Ateneo LaSalle doesn't get any better than that. And I think we saw it as an opportunity rather than like, and that calmed us down because you're never gonna experience, like, it's rare. It's really rare to experience that in your life. And to be able to come out on top of that, like, it feels amazing, right? Beating your rival school for the championship, you know, it doesn't get any better than that. So.
And not only that, even Kiefer gave us a speech before. I think you were gone already. Kiefer
I
dropped.
had
When you were
a,
gone?
He had class.
I had a presentation,
Yeah, presentation.
so I had to leave practice
The
early.
day before the game, Kiefer actually dropped by practice and he told us that you guys are lucky. In my 5 years of college, I've never experienced not even just a Game 3, but even an Ateneo LaSalle finals. And he said, like, you guys in the last 2 years have a chance to have had that opportunity. And he says, take it, because who gets to play an Ateneo LaSalle finals? Not even him in his last 5 years. So he said, just grab the opportunity. Don't be scared, because why are you gonna be scared? It's a chance of a lifetime. Take it.
Did he say that to you when you got home?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but then, like, I'm sure, like, when you guys entered, or like when everyone actually, even the fans, they entered Araneta in Game 3, they were like, oh my goodness, this is a 50-50 chance. And by the third quarter, it's like it restarted.
0-0.
Like, and then, like, you only have 10 minutes to
Yeah.
play. So, so what was your pregame?
My pregame, I think the
Yeah.
night before, I was, you know, I was trying to calm myself. I was excited, but I was also anxious and nervous. All those feelings.
What do you do?
I don't know, I just listen to music, honestly. Like, I just had to listen to music to calm my mind down, and then, you know, once we get to the arena, it's just the pregame ritual just begins, and you got to treat it like any other game, and you can't expect, like, because it's just a basketball game at the end of the day. Like, nothing changes, you know, you have to execute. There's no matter how many fans, no matter the hype of the game, it's still a basketball game. So you just got to treat it as hard as it is. You just got to treat it like another game.
Yeah.
What about you? What'd you do?
I just basically just like watched. I tried to get off, like get my mind off of things, just like watching that, like be on Netflix, and just like watch those shows and just like not think about it, because I just wanna relax my mind and just like make it empty just for the game. Because coming to the game, like we all know that it's inevitable that after that game, one team's gonna win, one team's gonna lose. So
You can't look at the results.
yeah,
Exactly.
you can't. And the amount of pressure is spread among us, and it's equal. So no one gets more pressure than someone, because it's a championship game. It's a 50-50 chance that we're gonna win or lose. So we all have the same amount of pressure. And when you think about that, it's about you kind of think about how you could lessen the pressure by preparing. So that's basically the important thing, especially coming into a Game 3 finals, that you know what you're gonna do and you basically just enjoy. That's the probably most important thing, and it's the one that I was telling myself time and time, like during the game, just enjoy, have fun. Just it's a game 3 Ateneo LaSalle. It's we don't know if it's ever gonna come again in my career. So just enjoy it, and I think that's what like made us play the way we did. We just all enjoyed.
I think I got some sleep because I was tired from the week full of school.
Yeah.
But I think one thing I did was first pray to God, because at the end of the day, you have to thank Him. Thank Him for the opportunity that we get to go to a great school, play for a great coach, community, and to be able to play the sport that we love. Because how many people never get the chance to do what they love, due to many circumstances. So I think that was the first thing I did, and ask Him for strength and guidance, because in a game 3, anything can happen. At game 3, you throw all the numbers out the window, all the stats, all the records, whatever happened, game 1, game 2, you have to throw it out the window. Because game 3, one game will decide all. And that game 3, as coach, there are many inevitables. Like as Thirdy said, there's going to be a winner and a loser. It's a game. Emotions going to be high, and you can't control those. But I think by asking God for help, you are able to set those aside and focus on what you have to do.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for Vince, yes, and talk about like Ateneo LaSalle. You were actually supposed to go to LaSalle.
Yeah. No, I was really. No, I was really here about I think a week and a half. I was there. They had a tryout for me like that with one of my other friends from Canada, and I think at the middle of the week I got a call from one of my uncles from Canada, and he said, "Oh no, just try and go to Ateneo." And you know, it was a huge difference for me. And as far as the environment and the players and everything, it was, you know, I'm lucky that I chose Ateneo. I can't.
What specifically happened, or like, what did you see in Ateneo that made you already immediately decide, I'm going to this school?
Well, first, I think like the campus was a lot different for me. It was, you know, just entering Ateneo, I felt like it was more enclosed. And coming from Canada, you know, that's what I'm used to. Something like Ateneo, you would see that back home. And then one of the other biggest things were the players at that time. And I remember it was like Wami Chongson, even your brother, Poy Aram. They were so welcoming to me, and they were taught, they would laugh, they would make jokes, they would ask what my name is, just the usual things. And I really felt welcome. Even Coach Norman, he really made me feel welcome in Ateneo. And at the end of the day, that's all that I need when I'm trying out for a team. So, yeah.
So you've been at Ateneo since 2012, right?
2012, yeah.
And then until 2018, so
Yes.
6 years.
6 years in Ateneo.
So what is one quote that you could like describe your whole college?
One quote? No, the one quote that I would use is work hard in silence, make your success, make all the noise, or something like that, by Frank Ocean. I think Frank Ocean said that. For me, I just worked. I think, I had my Ateneo career wasn't, spectacular. I was there and I wanted to get on the court. So I had to figure out a way to get on that court. And the only way was to work. And I can't explain it. It's just, it's just putting the time in and wanting something so bad that you're willing to do whatever you want. And again, the first couple years were a struggle for me because I didn't see the floor, and I miss my family back home, and I had these guys, but even my sister wasn't even here yet, my younger sister. So yeah, I think that's how I describe my Ateneo career. Just keep working.
But you've been rewarded so much.
That's the thing. Like all the struggles that I went through in the last 6 years was worth it to leave Ateneo with a championship, and I can't ask for more. And that's what makes me happy. Winning a championship on my final year is just a perfect way to go out.
Yeah, and I would like to congratulate you also for getting into the PBA D-League.
Yeah.
Marinerong Filipino, right?
Yes.
So
With Abu.
And you will be with
Abu. I know. We had practice earlier, and it was
How
funny.
was it?
We walked in, and there was some tension at first. and then actually, we said hi. I went up to him. I was like, just leave it on the court. That's it. That's all we had to, whatever happened, happened. And you know, even the coaches were joking and stuff. But at the end of the day, you leave whatever's on the court, and off the court, it doesn't mean anything.
So you guys are like good friends now?
Yeah, we're friends.
What about Alvin? Because like I
Alvin,
remember
yeah.
the last UE game.
Yeah,
well,
he
yeah.
actually he wasn't.
Yeah,
He didn't
8.
practice today, but
Oh.
he's part of the team. It's gonna be fun to play with him. You know, he's a scorer, pure scorer. So
It's fun.
yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully, I get some touches. No. But yeah, it's we have a good team. So I'm happy that I got drafted, and you know, it's the next part of my life. So exciting for me.
Okay,
So fun.
Congratulations
Thank you.
again. And for Thirdy, you are our finals MVP and
Yes,
Mythical
sir.
5 member.
Yes.
So how did you feel like one morning you just woke up and saw like, oh, I'm part of the Mythical 5, like
Yeah.
second Ben?
Yeah, well, actually, even before that, when they released the individual rankings, like the day after the last game where we lost to LaSalle, and I was ranked number 2, then people were congratulating me, and I didn't really, like, people were congratulating me, and I didn't reply because basically it wasn't really final. It was just in the stats that I was number 2, and I didn't want to thank them because it wasn't a final that UAAP made me part of the Mythical 5. But then again, it's one of those awards where it's just a bonus, and it just happened. Now, I didn't really come in the season thinking that, oh, I want to make the Mythical 5 or I want to be the MVP. It's basically just like, what do I have to do to help the team, and just what did Coach Tabb like assign me to do like today, this game or this practice, and it's such a great feeling to like see that it bore fruit, and it's also like it wouldn't be possible without if it weren't for my teammates and the coaches and the trust they've placed on me. So I think that's one way to reward them is, you know, to do your job and to just make sure that you do it well.
Okay. Then when you started playing basket, oh, and you mentioned a while ago that you had pressure from your dad and Kiefer, but then Coach Tabb relieved you
Yeah.
of this. Well, how did you cope with it? Like, well, when you started in season 77.
Yeah.
Yes. So how did you cope with that feeling? That was a pre-Coach Tabb era.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty evident that during that season I was still under pressure. I was scored 1.5 points per game, 1.4 rebounds, averaged about 8 minutes. I had turnovers for someone who plays like really low minutes. I had a pretty high turnover average. So when you think about those things, and I kind of think about like during the second year that I was out, it was the biggest blessing for me. Like some would call it like a nightmare or like a low point in my life. It was a low point in my life, but I think it was the year that made me really, really hungry and motivated to just step out of my brother's shadow, my dad's shadow, and just like not think about the pressure that other people place on me, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be that pressure from people, from the fans, from the support. Everyone has their own like, you know, opinions, but what's important is that like I make sure that I do my job and that I put in the work because I want to be a good player and I have the chance to be, and not just because I'm getting that I'm supposed to be because of my dad and my brother. And that's what Coach Tabb really explained to me well, and what he really tried to get in my head. So it was a real blessing.
And you did get something that your brother didn't get, right? The Finals MVP award.
Yeah, I mean, it was just another bonus that, I don't know, that wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the team, and if it weren't for I knew that everyone on the team wanted it as bad as I did, and we all wanted that championship, not just for ourselves but also for the coaches. All the time that like they've put in, all the work they've put in, the community, you know, our parents, and all the supporters and everyone who's been with us in this journey. And it's kind of a great feeling to be able to give back that in terms of like a championship, because it's the only way you could really like show them that you appreciate all their love and support. So, yeah.
So if not basketball, what is the other side of Thirdy Ravena that we haven't like seen?
It's my other side. I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm super like average. I don't do anything like extraordinary. Like I basically just, you know, what a normal person does. You know, hang out with my friends, just go out and just enjoy, just make sure that I don't miss out on too much things, you know? Like, I just want to have fun and just, I'm a pretty spontaneous guy, so sometimes I would just go, you know, bowling or just maybe go on a road trip, like out of the blue, and just enjoy with my friends. Like, that's what people do, and that's, you know, I think it's something people think I do, like, some people think I do something like different from other people, but it's, at the end of the day, I'm just like normal, and I'm pretty much the same as everyone else.
I'm sure like after the season, you'll have time to do that again.
Yeah.
But then I
Even
heard that you guys have practice soon, right?
Yes, well,
late January.
late January we have, but you know, it's a lot of time,
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Time to enjoy.
And Coach Tabb's like, he told us he just wanted us to be, you know, get a little fat and just make life, so he could make us miserable again, you know. You know,
Not me.
he's,
I'm done.
he's back
For
in
Isaac,
practice.
it's rice.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, it's a journey that, you know, we had last year that we thought it was really hard. But when you think about it, when you get that, once you're in that stage and you get that medal and that trophy, everything just seems to pay off. Like, no matter how long we prepared, no matter how hard we prepared, we had Baler camp, which was an absolute nightmare. But at the end of the day, all you can say is that everything was worth it once you get that trophy.
And for Isaac, so what is your other side?
Ooh.
I think
Singing?
no, not the singing.
Lover
I think,
boy.
Oh, yeah,
not the
like-
singing. I think one side
He's a
people
lover
don't
boy.
always see. I'm a total geek. I'm a total geek. So like, I love reading about articles, like as a kid, I'd always watch
He reads about
Discovery Channel, Animal Planet, Nat Geo, and up to now I still
did.
up to now I still watch History Channel when I get the chance to. So I think I love quirky facts, just like something fun facts. And I think that's one side people normally don't see about me, because everyone just sees me as the guy who studies and plays. But give me a quick fact once in a while. It's something interesting. I'll search into it.
Okay, hit us with one fun fact.
One
Ooh,
fun fact.
ooh,
One
ooh,
fun
ooh.
fact.
I'm actually a lover boy.
Wait, one fun
Georgie.
one
fact about George.
George, come on, you're a pretty fun person. That's not going to be too hard to think about one fun fact.
One fun fact.
Just
I love payphone.
I wish.
Sample? Who wants a sample?
I think one fun fact is that I've always wanted to try to enter the stock market, but never. Just that's something
fun.
I've always wanted to experience, and maybe Bitcoin. Like I wanted to experiment on Bitcoin, but I never had the time.
Cryptocurrency is not
Cryptocurrency,
really, like,
but really
you gotta
just
stay out of that. That's multi-level
scary.
marketing. A lot of
Yeah,
people are
but-
gonna get messed up, George.
we don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Bitcoin's still on the rise now. Price is rising. Price is I think 8,000 for one Bitcoin.
Yeah.
8,000 pesos for one Bitcoin.
He's monitoring it.
Yeah.
Let's wait for it, guys.
Yeah.
Breaking.
No, but it's projected to hit. I think
next
10.
Jordan
10
Buffett.
I think it's projected to go up to 10 to 12,000 within the next by 2020. I think. But
Yeah.
the price sometimes spikes and crashes, so we'll see.
And you also now have a business accelerator.
Yes.
Can you talk about Extinct?
Our product Extinct is a toilet deodorizing and
Here we
disinfectant
go.
spray on the go. We decided to make that as our product was because number one, we ran out of ideas. Honestly, we pivoted so many, and we saw the need for it because like especially a lot of people are commuting, traveling a lot, and sometimes what's the one thing aside from water that people normally question is the toilets, where the next toilets, and sometimes there are public toilets which aren't properly maintained. So it just helps ease the tension because if you gotta go, you gotta go. You gotta go.
And how much is this cost?
Are we going?
But are we go?
How much is this, George?
It's 100 pesos.
Where can we find it, George?
We're gonna launch our online store soon. I think we're gonna start online. We'll post the link up. Follow our Facebook page, Extinct, to see it. Yeah, but currently now we're just selling really just to friends and family in the Ateneo community. We haven't really gone out. I think we have a bazaar this week in Century Mall and Estancia, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think we do.
George, I think you have to pay them for all the promotion that you've done. Just kidding.
Yeah. It's just really nice to have that because at an early age, at least we're already exposed to this type of environment, this kind of work, and then hopefully that helps us in the workforce in the future.
Yeah, okay, going back to basketball now. Okay, so from what I read, you weren't really into basketball when you were in high school, grade school, high
Yes.
school. But then, what could be your turning point in your basketball career?
I think the first turning point is when I actually learned to love the game. I can't specifically now point back to which point all of a sudden I just said I love the game, but because at an early age, when you're trying to do something, especially when you're young, and you don't love it, sometimes you really question what you're doing. Like, you're gonna invest so much time and effort into something you really don't love or you don't like doing. And that caused a lot of doubt, and I was like saying, maybe I should just stop. But when you have a support group like my family and my parents and my brother who really pushed me to play, I think I just learned to love the game. I wish I can point exactly to when, but I think it was around first year, second, when I saw a possible future playing college. That's when I think my big turning point was, and finally I can say, okay, I see this possibility as a future, then I'm gonna work for it. Because back then in grade school, I was just playing for fun. So that I wouldn't get too fat, so I could enjoy life as well. But really, I think that's when I learned to love the game. Was when one of my biggest turning points.
Then, when you entered college, you had a shoulder injury.
Yes.
Did that actually, like, give you cast doubts on your mind that, like, maybe basketball isn't for me?
I think actually this is also another turning in my career. I remember the day I got injured. That was the weekend before we were gonna leave for Vegas in my rookie year. Thirdy's rookie year. And I remember crying on the way home, calling our PT, Mom Louise, and saying that I was just crying to her because I felt bad. But I think in reality that 1 year turned into a blessing. I got to experience the life of a regular student. It's something we've never gotten the chance to really do. And it opened a lot of my eyes to a lot of things that you don't normally see. And also that I think that made me hungrier because I wanted to get back. I remember Mom Louise would get mad at me so much because
Can I share a story?
Wait, let me finish.
No,
Let me
share the story about Ice when he hurt his shoulder. We were in Korea and he couldn't play that season. And I remember, like, this guy, he came in. We have this rookie initiation thing. He came in, he walked in, and he was in tears, and he was saying, like, because he knew he couldn't play that season, right? And all the seniors, all the other guys were there, and you know, he came in, and we're like, Ice, why are you crying? Like, what's wrong, or what was up? And because of his shoulder, he couldn't play that season, so he felt that emotion. It was post-season. Do you remember that preseason?
That was preseason, yeah.
And that just shows how much, you know, he wanted to help the team, and you know, for him to be a rookie and to tell his seniors that, you know, he didn't even step onto the UAP court yet, and he was like tearing up, wanting to play, and that's one of the stories I remember when he was in. Anyway, continue.
I forgot what
I
you
just
said.
had to share that.
And like also that because I remember when we asked Doc if there's a possibility for me to rush and make it to the season, and I remember Doc saying that there's no point in rushing you because even though if you have surgery the next day, there's no way in hell you're gonna make it the season. And he said the only thing we can do now is maybe let you go to the States still. Because I could still work out, but I couldn't join all the contractors they were doing. But he told me stay with the team because I think a big factor of what happens when you're an injured player is that you're ultimately outside the team. You don't see the ins and outs. You don't become part of that brotherhood, that camaraderie, and like I think that trip helped me become closer to everybody because in the next year I became their teammates, and that trip maybe to show that because that was the last year of Nico and you, and I have to thank them so much because they were my seniors that time, and I felt that if you're a rookie and one of those two guys were one of your seniors, I think, especially as a young player back then, I think it would help because like you had New who spent 1 year ineligible because he was off grades and you had Nico who transferred to LaSalle. So you had two guys with contrasting stories and sharing them to us as rookies. And I think it helped me adjust going to college.
But then you didn't have any doubts of like, oh, I have to stop basketball, or it just made you want to play more.
I wanted to get back on the floor. I remember Mom Louise would get so mad at me because I'd ask her, Mom Louise, when can I start shooting? But she would get so mad and say no. Because it was my shooting arm that got injured, and like I wanted to play so bad, man. When you're just sitting down 6 months and not doing anything, you're like, damn, 6 months. You're not playing basketball for 6 months. You can't shoot, you can't run, you can't do anything. So it was I really wanted to get back on the court. And I think I've learned to love the game more and learned to appreciate those moments where you get to play, because you lose a lot of time in 6 months. Because your basketball career will last you, if you're lucky, till 33, 34. So that knowing that's 14 years left and that you lose 6 months, and hopefully, and I learned to just love it and grab every opportunity.
Did you see that he did some math there again?
6 months, 14 years.
So that's 13 months, 13 years and 6 months left in your career, Ice. You could count that down. It's a lot of time.
And then in season 78, it was your debut year, and then you were still playing behind Ike and
Fonzo, G-Boy.
Yeah, Fonzo and G-Boy. So how did you feel then?
I understood it was a process. I was coming out my shoulder surgery. I wasn't in the best of shape. And also that I understood the process of a big man. It's rare that you find a big man out of high school, ready to play in the college division. Because I think the biggest adjustment would be the physicality. When you start playing against guys like Karim Abdul, Alfred Aroga, and even Ike in practice, it's physically dominating. Yeah. And I think that's why bigs normally take time to adjust. And you understand the process, because when you've had like the story like mine where you started you're not making the team, then you rode the bench, you understand that it's really a process of growth and that your time will come. It's just being able to take the opportunity when your time comes.
So now that Ike is graduating from school and the team, what are fans going to look forward from you?
More ice in his veins.
No, more ice? No, rice.
Rice in his veins.
Maybe I think I hope people will see a more physically dominant guy. Maybe, hopefully. And also, I think a level of maturity. I think I still made mistakes last year because of maturity issues, and I can't allow that next year, especially with Ike gone, and that a bulk of the minutes may come to me or whoever steps in, and maybe also being more of a leader to the new big men coming in, because they haven't experienced the UAP. I'll be in my 4th year. So maybe even though they get the minutes, I'll be the one mentoring them, teaching them what to do and helping them.
Can you mentor me also?
Wing ka na.
That's okay. I need your knowledge.
Okay, so we have some questions now from the fans. So number 1 is, who are your top 5 PBA favorite players?
Top 5.
Top 5 me first. Danny Ildefonso, Danny Siegel, Alan Caedic, Greg Slaughter, Jun Marfardo.
Mine's probably Chris Ross, Terrence Romeo, Jimmy Alapag.
Ravena? Ravena?
Probably Verhel Meneses. And who else? John Yabriantos, probably.
For me, probably Jimmy, Jason Castro. Who's a lefty? Alex.
Cabagnot.
Chris Lutz is a lefty.
Yeah, I like his game.
Reynold
Chris
Hugnatan.
Newsome. I like Chris Newsome. And Reynold.
Reynold Hugnatan.
The big man from Morocco.
Shout out Chris. Shout out to Chris and Chris Ross and Alex Cabagnot.
And then there's one question here. What's the sweetest thing you've done for a girl?
Ooh.
Each of you.
Start with
Thirdy.
Start with 30. 30 has the most experience.
Huh? What was it?
Sweetest thing you've done for a girl?
I think the sweetest thing I've done is to give her my time and priority. Next to basketball.
Oh, come on.
I mean, everything and school. So it's basically just like you sacrifice everything. Like you move your plans, you adjust everything just so you could fit her in your schedule, even if it's busy. And it's you know, those little things that actually, in the long run, just make someone feel they really matter to you and you really care about them. So that's probably the sweetest thing I've done.
I think I can answer that question. I've been single, so I really haven't done anything. I think the sweetest thing I've done, fine, for example, for my mother would be to make her breakfast. To make her breakfast, I made her breakfast. Really, this people don't under realize that what their mothers do for them, how much support, how much time they sacrifice, and maybe just making breakfast once for her was something that to say my thank you. Because yes, we say I love you, but sometimes actions speak louder than words. So.
I cried. What about you,
What about me?
Vince.
Sweetest thing
Vince.
I've done. Maybe cook. Cook for. I think.
Cook for who?
Cook for the girl.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say for yourself.
Cook dinner. I don't know. I'm not really like.
Did that actually happen?
Yes, it did.
Because it seems like
I can't cook, so I made an effort. You know, that's probably the sweetest thing. I had to go on YouTube, check out the recipes and stuff. It's probably the sweetest.
What did you cook? What did you cook?
Spaghetti.
Oh.
It's pretty easy, but it's not easy when you don't know how to cook.
Oh my god, that's so adorable.
Thanks.
And then there's one for Isaac. So, any advice to anyone who missed their game-winning shot in life?
Oh, that's tough.
That's tough. I think one would be stay in the moment. No, not stay in the moment. Missed it. I think number one is move on. There's no point in looking back. It's done. You can't change the. You can't change the past. You can't change the result. You can think what to do. I think it's nice to reflect on it for a while because it understands and helps you prepare yourself for the future. But you can't let it hold you back. I think that's why I was able to make the shots in the future is because I let go. You finally say that's done. If the opportunity comes again, I'll make it.
I see. And then last, it's actually a dare for you guys. Someone's asking you to dance Baby Shark.
Let's go.
Baby Shark.
Let's
go.
Let's go. Come on, Vince, you weren't here. Let's do it.
Do you guys memorize the dance
I
moves?
didn't.
No,
I'll follow
DJ,
you.
can we get a cue?
Cue down.
Q.
Oh, you hear the music?
Oh, it's I can feel
I'll
it.
follow you.
Let's just follow. Just follow. We got you, man.
You weren't here a while ago when you did it.
I didn't know. I don't know. Oh, everyone's watching.
Like the whole office is watching.
Oh god, no. Baby shark,
Hey, what's next?
Baby shark.
Other hand?
Baby shark, Baby shark, everyone's watching and I'm not going. Shark, daddy shark, daddy shark, daddy shark. Shark, grandma shark, grandma shark, grandma
What's
shark.
next? What's next?
Shark, grandpa shark, shark. Let's go hunt, let's go hunt, let's go hunt. Run away, run away. Okay, now we just like that's too much. I think everyone just they're taking a video of us.
No one is doing work anymore.
Wow. Thank you.
See, you guys have some hidden talent there. Okay, grab it. Wait, I have to catch my breath. Are you guys okay?
Yeah,
Let's
we're
go
good.
back.
I think we just lost our careers.
Let's go back.
Okay, so that is all for the Rappler Talk today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope everyone enjoyed also. So these are like at the Ateneo Blue Eagles, Vince Tolentino, Thirdy, Ravena, and Isaac. I'm glad that you've got to meet them and know more about them. So much more than basketball. Okay, so this is Beatrice Go, Rappler. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for having us, Achi. Thank you, Achi.
Bye, Achi.